cancer, wasting syndrome, and NAD+. A special thanks to my dad for sharing the following paper with me. Low Metabolism and NAD+ Deficiency Implicated in Wasting Syndrome by Joseph Mercola. In this video, I'll make occasional references to this article. Thank you, Dad. Mercola's paper was helpful. What causes cancer and NAD+ depletion? So here's a human cell, and the nucleus, and the DNA. Most of the DNA is in the nucleus, with some of it existing in the mitochondrion. The mitochondrion act as the power supplies for your cells. What happens when the bile becomes sluggish, the liver gets congested, and the toxins get backed up into the bloodstream? The lymphatic system tries its best to clean the blood, but gets overwhelmed from such a heavy toxic load. The lymph nodes get clogged up, and the toxic sludge damages the DNA strands in your cells. This leads to lymphoma. Damaged DNA is a fundamental cause of cancer. So damage leads to mutations, leads to uncontrolled growth, leads to tumors. Here's a closer view of the nucleus. Here's the damaged DNA. Here's an enzyme called PARP. PARP is the first responder to the damaged site. Its job is to repair the DNA. Here's NAD+. This is the fuel for PARP. PARP consumes large quantities of NAD+ to repair the damaged DNA. As toxins enter your cells, the demand for NAD+ begins to exceed the supply. You'll run a deficit and develop a deficiency in NAD+. So, how does the deficiency of NAD+ affect the mitochondrion? Mitochondria require NAD+ to act as an electron carrier for the production of ATP. This process turns food into energy. ATP is the essential energy currency molecule used by all living cells to power nearly all biological processes, from muscle contraction and nerve signals to synthesizing DNA. So here we have low ATP production. Add some NAD, and this has now increased the ATP production. In summary, when NAD+ runs low, cells cannot convert food into energy, forcing your body to break down its own tissues to survive. Two types of remedies. One, responding to the symptoms. For example, adding niacin to one's diet. And two, addressing the root cause. Prevent the damage from occurring in the first place. So for part one, you can get niacin from food or from supplements. And for part two, root cause, fix leaky gut, binders, avoid sugar, A1 protein, seed oils, replace with better alternatives, bile flow, and intermittent fasting. So 1A, niacin from food. In general, animal products are much richer in niacin, the precursor to NAD, compared to plants. Examples of best sources. So liver, chicken, tuna. Liver and chicken will cover the majority of your daily need, while a can of tuna will cover more. 1B, supplements. These are the precursors or building blocks needed for NAD+ production. So tryptophan, nicotinic acid, nicotinamide. This is what you find in Mercola's paper. Nicotinamide riboside, NAMN, NMN, and the hydrogen version of NMN is the NMNH, and this is the reduced version of NMN. And all of these lead to the production of NAD+. So here's a side-by-side comparison between NMN and NMNH. The H stands for the extra hydrogen atom. And you can pause the video here if you would like to read the table with pros and cons. So all of the supplements here that I've circled in red can be purchased off of Amazon. Even NAD Plus itself. The one I use is NMNH. I'll show you how they all compare. So, from Google AI, for boosting NAD+, NMN and NMNH are considered to be superior to NAM and NR because NMN is a more direct, efficiently absorbed precursor that converts into NAD+ with fewer steps, making it a preferred choice for raising cellular NAD+ levels, though NR also works well, and some experts suggest combined approaches for optimal results. And NMNH is generally considered superior to direct NAD+ supplements because NAD+ is poorly absorbed orally, while NMN is efficiently enters cells and converts to NAD+, acting as a direct building block. While some advocate for NAD+ itself for brain effects, NMN effectively raises NAD+ in most tissues and offers additional benefits like improved insulin sensitivity, making it a more reliable choice. So in summary, NMN-NMNH is considered superior to its precursor and postcursor. It's both more direct and better absorbed. So just in case you'd like to pause and review, here's the comparison chart again. If you're interested, you can even try NAD+ IV drip therapy and drip it directly into your bloodstream. Remedy 2A, fix leaky gut. This is the most important. As we age, the intestinal wall lining becomes thinner and develops gaps. Here is the gut wall interfacing with the bloodstream. On the left is a normal gut lining. See how the lining has no gaps. On the right is a leaky gut. See how the gaps allow toxins to pass back into the bloodstream. Toxins should leave your body when you go to the bathroom. But with leaky gut, the gaps in the lining allow pathogens and toxins to pass back into the bloodstream. This causes inflammation, which damages your DNA. You can use binders to capture the toxins, preventing them from re-entering the blood. Binders will be covered in section 2B. So, how do we fix leaky gut? Rebuild, heal, defend. For rebuild, we have L-glutamine, collagen, and gelatin. Heal, we have colostrum. And defend, we have probiotics. Rebuild. L-glutamine is considered to be the most important amino acid for rebuilding the intestinal wall and its mucus lining. It is the primary fuel source. The high turnover rate of intestinal cells causes the rapid consumption of L-glutamine. While L-glutamine provides the energy to rebuild, collagen and gelatin provide the physical structure for rebuilding. Collagen and gelatin provide building blocks like glycine, proline, hydroxyproline. You may pause the video here to read the table. Gelatin is especially good for sealing up the gut lining. Gelatin can easily be turned into jello or gummy bears. Heal. Colostrum is the first milkings after a baby cow is born. So it's one of the most nutrient-dense foods found in nature. Colostrum strengthens the junctions, seals the gaps, physically binds to and neutralizes pathogens like Candida and their toxins, preventing them from reattaching to your gut wall. This reduces the workload on your liver, and it calms an overactive immune response to inflammation. Feeds your good bacteria, so your good bacteria can push out the bad bacteria. defend. Your gut contains good bacteria, bad bacteria, and fungi. Why do we need good bacteria? To hold the bad ones in check, digest food, absorb nutrients, and maintain our immune system. Also, good bacteria promotes proteins that seal up the gaps. They reinforce tight junctions and strengthen the wall. Unfortunately, when we take antibiotics, it kills off the good bacteria along with the bad. So after taking antibiotics, it's important to replenish the good bacteria with probiotics. Remedy 2B, binders. Examples include chlorella, activated charcoal, bentonite clay, and chlorophyll. Chlorella can be taken with food, while activated charcoal requires a 2-hour separation from food. Why are binders important? If we can prevent the toxins from entering our cells, we can then address the root cause of both cancer and NAD+ depletion. We can decrease the damage to DNA. In the intestines, binders bind to toxins, preventing them from passing through the intestinal wall and into the bloodstream. Warning about taking antibiotics. When you kill the bad bacteria with antibiotics, their corpses release toxins into your system. The toxins will then be absorbed through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream, where they get carried throughout the body. The liver tries to filter them out, but gets overwhelmed. The toxins also get carried into the brain, crossing the blood-brain barrier. This leads to protein misfolding and various diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. The toxins induce neuroinflammation, disrupt neurotransmitters, and give you brain fog. Thinking becomes more difficult. So here in the table we have Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, mad cow, and amyloidosis. So my doctor warned me, never take antibiotics without also taking a binder. This applies to any protocol that involves killing pathogens in your body. For example, some people take a garlic supplement with concentrated allicin. Allicin kills pathogens in the gut, releasing heavy loads of toxins into your system. Anyone who is taking garlic should also be taking a binder. Optional. How to make a binder shake. So you take a teaspoon of psyllium husk, although this is just fiber. Fiber is optional. It helps to act as a toothbrush to clean your walls inside your intestines. Okay, a teaspoon of bentonite clay, 1/8 or 1/4 or 1/2 teaspoon of charcoal. Start off small, work your way up. 8 ounces of water. Use a plastic measuring spoon, no metal. Shake up all ingredients in a mason jar with a plastic lid, no metal. And wide mouth bottles are easier to clean. Drink it 2 hours away from food and medications. Or you can take capsules. Remedy 2C. Avoid sugar, A1 protein, and seed oils. So the immune system needs to have a balance between pro-inflammatory and anti-inflammatory cytokines. Sugar, A1 protein, and seed oils all tip the balance in the wrong direction. Too much inflammation overwhelms and confuses the immune system. In confusion, the immune system mistakenly attacks your own cells. Even if you aren't diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, the oxidative stress from inflammation will still damage your DNA. The DNA strands will break. Once again, you'll have NAD plus depletion and cancer. So, inflammatory foods slip through a leaky gut, causing chronic inflammation, which damages DNA and causes NAD plus depletion and cancer. So, avoid inflammatory foods. 2D, replacements. What can you eat instead? So we have a bad side and a good side. On the bad side, we have seed oils like canola, soybean, corn, cottonseed, sunflower, etc. On the good side, we have avocado oil, coconut oil, palm oil. On the bad side, we have sugar, corn syrup, artificial sweeteners. On the good side, we have allulose, monk fruit, stevia, or xylitol. On the bad side, we have A1 dairy, which is the vast majority of the dairy in the U.S. And on the good side, we have A2 dairy. On the bad side, we have eggs labeled as cage-free or free-range or conventional, of course. And on the good side, we have eggs labeled as organic pasture-raised. On the bad side, we have sodium nitrate or nitrite and sodium phosphate. On the good side, we have citric acid, ascorbic acid, vitamin E, sodium chloride, vinegar, beet powder, rosemary leaf extract, and other essential oils. Remedy 2E, bile flow. Now, how do we unclog the liver? Purified bile salts. Endotoxins can shut down the bile flow. We need to keep the bile thin and fluid instead of thick and sluggish. For more information, you can watch this 5-minute video. Search YouTube for Dr. Berg, do this before you detox, or look for the link in the description box below. Highly recommend using his gallbladder formula. You can find it on Amazon. Both healthy fats and bitter herbs help trigger the gallbladder. This is important to keep the bile flowing. So on the left, you see salmon, avocado, nuts, sardines, healthy oils. And on the right, you see artichoke, cacao, chamomile, dandelion, coffee. These are all good. These are all good for triggering the gallbladder. And you can also use cranberry juice. So for bile flow, if you need to pass bile stones, you can use magnesium citrate to widen the bile ducts. Place 1 scoop of magnesium in water. Stir. Wait 5 minutes to allow the gases to escape. Drink it. Wait 20 minutes. Then drink a hot beverage to relax the ducts. Immediately eat some fat like cheese, avocado, nuts, etc. Fat triggers the gallbladder to contract, pushing stones out. And lastly, 2F, fasting. So both intermittent fasting and prolonged fasting greatly increase NAD plus levels and repair damaged DNA. Intermittent fasting is going to be easier. You fast for 16 hours and keep all of your eating in an 8-hour window. And prolonged fasting is 48 to 72 hours. Both of these will help increase NAD and repair the DNA. But don't worry if this is too hard on you. You can skip it if you're not ready yet. It's just good to know what the tools are, even if you don't use them. Autophagy is an amazing tool for repairing your body. So, thank you for watching, and Jesus loves you. He loves you so much.